Right, here it is, Saturday morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. No, 7 o'clock. We're going to do this swap. So this is the SI. We've got the K24 engine ready to go. This is Cliff. So we're going to start pulling this on out. We're going to do it by book. So we're going to drop it on the subframe. We'll lift the vehicle up and have the subframe on the ground with the engine and transmission together, and then we'll do what we need to do from there, and then we'll get it popped back in. But here we go. Right, so we've got most of the top stuff cleared out already. The wiring harness he's working on right now, he's about got that pulled out. There's I think one or two more wires that go down behind there that we'll pull when we get it lifted up. But we've got the battery out, we got everything cleared out from here. We got the transmission disconnected, the slave cylinder for the clutch is disconnected. We've got the air intake disconnected. We've got the motor mount over here is off. The belt's off. Yeah, I think we're pretty much ready to just about ready to lift this up, drain some fluids, and start working on the underside stuff. Book doesn't seem to be right about this drive shaft. It says it's 2 pieces, but the more we look at it, it's actually 1 piece. It's not splitting here where it should. So we're going to take off this little heat shield here, and then we'll take off the mount for it and just pull the whole thing out. So we made a decision to go ahead and we're gonna just remove the AC compressor. So we're gonna remove the lines so we can drop the AC compressor down with the engine. It'll be a little easier for us since I have access to an AC machine. It just makes sense. We're gonna do this a little different than the book says. The book says to drop the subframe and then drop the engine and transmission, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna set the subframe on jack stands and lift the car up, which is gonna keep the engine and transmission on the subframe, lift the car up, and we'll have complete access to everything that we need to do. Alright, so we got the AC evacuated, and like I said, we just pulled the 2 AC lines. That way we can drop the compressor with the engine and the subframe. So right now we're gonna lift the vehicle up a little bit, position some jack stands underneath, lower it back down onto the jack stands so the subframe's on the jack stands, and then we'll pull this transmission mount, and then we'll pull the subframe bolts, and we should be able to lift the vehicle up, and the engine should come right on out. Alright, so we forgot to record some things, but we've got the engine, transmission back together. We put the clutch in, new clutch. We got new mounts on the subframe, both of them. We got that one there and that one there, and we've got the engine, transmission back on. We've got the exhaust on, and we're sitting on the subframe. So once Cliff gets this little harness in, he's working on right now for the starter and the alternator, we'll go ahead and lower the vehicle back onto the subframe, and we'll get the subframe reattached. We'll try to start to remember to record. I'm sorry, I don't know why I didn't hit record for some reason. Whoa, there it is. Beautiful. Yeah. Right, so we're on day 2. We stopped after we got the engine in yesterday, and Cliff's working on the clutch and transmission lines, and then he'll start working on the wire and harness. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on doing the suspension, getting the axles back in and the lower ball joints back on. And we should have this wrapped up today, and we'll pop a couple videos here and there, or pop a couple recordings and show you where we're at, and then we'll definitely get the start up on video as well. So this is where we're at, and it's coming along really good. So there is two issues that we run across. We're gonna have to extend the wiring on two wiring harnesses. These two right here. This one needs a wrap around back there, and this one's got to go down over here a little bit further. It just doesn't quite reach, as you can see. And then there's one hose, heater hose, that goes from there to here that we're gonna have to replace because it's not quite long enough. We were able to make the other one reach, but that one's just not quite long enough. Alright, so we got the driver's side suspension back together, CV shafts in, what was the other thing? Got the wheel on, lower ball joints reconnected, all torqued down to specs. We've been having some issues up here. One was with the fuel rail. We can't use the Acura fuel rail because it comes straight out, which hits all of these hoses. The Honda fuel rail comes out and down and then over, which allows us to hit the fuel line, which is right there. I don't know if you guys can see that right there. So we've got to use the Honda fuel rail on that. Now the problem with that is the Honda fuel rail has a regulator on it, which was hitting the intake. So I got rid of the regulator. I'm letting kind of use some a cold weld on it, and I'm letting that dry up before we put that back in, but that should take care of that. And then we've got one more issue with the air intake. It's hitting the hood. So Cliff's looking at getting there's a piece that bends down, and that would allow it to go flush with the engine. So we're working on those right now. That's where we're at this point in time. Besides that, everything is going really good. We haven't done the passenger side yet because I need to lift the car up to do this CV shaft. We had to take it out with the bracket. It's one solid piece all the way. It should be a half shaft and then another half shaft, but it's one solid piece all the way. So need to lift the car up to get this side back together. But besides that, we're pretty much there. Got the battery to go still, and then we need to figure out this part of the intake. And we're just waiting on the fuel rail to finish up, and we'll get that put in. But yeah, it's looking good so far. Then we'll once we get all this done, we'll get some fluids in and get it fired up. Got CV shaft back in, lower ball joints torqued and bend. Cliff's working on the exhaust right now. We about got this wrapped up. Almost ready for some fluids here. I also torqued the harmonic balancer while I was up. It's easier to torque that when it's on the car than when it's on an engine stand, because you can put the tool in here and then brace it with the shaft and then use your torque wrench on the bolt. So but we're getting there. Looking really good. Really happy with this so far. So that's where we're at. So we had to special order some things. We're gonna get this installed into our bellies, and then we'll get this fired up. We got her up and running. Listen to that baby purr. We got a couple adjustments to make still, and we're burping the coolant right now. Once the car warms up, we'll adjust the idle a little bit more, but it is doing awesome. Sounds great. No smoke, no leaks. No smoke. We're good to go. Everything is doing awesome. Fans kicked on. Thermostat probably open. Let's check the heat. Yeah, we're getting there. Just got to burp the coolant, and then we'll readjust the idle, and it is good to go. And that's all she wrote, folks. I'll get another shot when he pulls out. Show you guys how he does. I'll try to get him driving down the street too so you guys can hear it. But yeah. Right, you guys, well, we got this sucker done. Cliff's getting the bumper back on right now. We just recharged the AC. Next clip we'll get him firing it up and driving it out of here, and I'll try to get him to spin around the block real quick so you guys can see it up and running. But that's it. Acura TSX 2.4 engine in a Honda Civic Si. Yeah. All right, here we go. Oh yeah, up and running. Beautiful. Awesome. We had to take his hood off because of the air intake. You see how much it sticks up right there? So the hood wouldn't close all the way. He's getting an adapter for it, and we'll get the hood back on in another day or two. Thanks for watching, guys.